Mikel.
Hello.
I'm afraid we're going to start with the traditional injury updates. Thomas Partey obviously trained, but didn't travel.
Yeah.
Available for the matchday squad?
Let's see. We have another session today. Obviously, he's been out for many months now, and we need to really nail the timing and when he has enough in the time to compete. But I think it's very close.
Very close.
Yeah.
Same for Jesus.
Same with Gabi as well.
And Zinchenko.
He's done a few things, and Alex is not far too.
And Tomiyasu.
And Tomiyasu is still a little bit more, I think.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So, 4 of them racing against time. Tomiyasu not necessarily. Great. Thank you very much. So, the way you've spent the last 48 hours, you stayed overnight in Porto. Is that right? A relaxing morning and then a leisurely flight back.
Mm-hmm.
So you've had chance to reflect with the players, look into their eyes, see how they're feeling off the back of that defeat. What do you see?
Well, what I see is a team that can't wait to play Porto at home now, and with that result, obviously, we have created a fantastic Champions League night of football in front of our people and the lights, where you need to beat them to go through, and the task is very clear now.
What does it mean about getting back to the Premier League and the determination to bounce back straight away?
That's it. Porto is gone. We discussed it. We know the things that we did very well, the things that we have to improve. It tells you again about the small margins in Champions League, because we have one of the biggest chances in the 91st minute with Gabi. If he scores that goal, we are 1-0 up. It's a fantastic, mature, disciplined performance in the Champions League. You lose it in the last second, and it's something else. And that's clear, but we cannot lose sight of where we are, what we are doing, and the importance of the match tomorrow, and the full energy and focus is there.
The last time, you only lost actually once before in the Champions League this season at Lens. You came back and you beat Manchester City 3 days later.
Yeah.
Looking for similar this time?
That's the reaction that we need, and we want to create an atmosphere in the stadium from the beginning. And I ask everybody to go there tomorrow night with full energy, because the team is going to need it, and we are in a really good moment in the Premier League, and we want to continue to be there, and tomorrow's game is vital to achieve that.
Under the floodlights as well, which is unusual on a Saturday night. The atmosphere against Liverpool, for example, is a bit earlier in the evening. Are you looking for that kind of atmosphere?
Always better, so we can do better, the team to play better, the crowd to be even more energetic with us in every single ball, and that's what we have to build tomorrow.
And lots of celebrations afterwards if you win.
Sorry?
Lots of celebrations afterwards if you win.
Yeah, I don't know if outside or inside the dressing room, but let's win first.
Is it unfinished business? We won't go into the nitty-gritty of the game, the point that you all feel was stolen from you at Newcastle, but is there an aspect of unfinished business with you and the players when Newcastle are concerned?
With every club, there is always a history. There is always what happened before, what is going to happen next. And we know the importance of the game, and we just focus on what we have to do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Back at the Emirates after 3 away games. I bet that feels good.
Yeah, it feels like a long time, that Liverpool game, but it's been a while, and we love playing at home, and tomorrow is a fantastic game.
What's the difference between the Arsenal that lost 1-0 at St James's Park and the Arsenal going in tomorrow's game?
Well, let's see tomorrow. Even them as well, they have changed a little bit. I think they have a few players that they might not be available. The same with us. So let's see, every game is very different, and the approach sometimes away and at home can change.
Are you expecting Newcastle to have a similar approach to Porto, maybe? And in that case, how are you going to deal with that?
I don't know, because normally they have a very different approach to game, especially when they don't have the ball. So two very different teams, I think.
Are you going to use that defeat against Porto to get an extra bit of motivation, or do you want to forget about that and think about what you've done in the Premier League in recent weeks?
What happened there in another competition is there. What you cannot deny is that what is in your tummy after a defeat, and that we have to use it in a really powerful way to be even better.
Thank you, Mikel.
Thanks, Ian.
Hi, Mikel. How are you?
I'm very good, you?
Timber, are we going to see him back before the end of the season?
I really hope so. He's doing really well. It's been He's been with some players around now on the pitch. He's going to start to do some bits with us in the next week or so. And then we have to see how that evolves, how his confidence level, his fitness level, and hopefully the answer is yes.
Because it seems now as we come towards the real run-in, and after this weekend, you, Liverpool and City will all have played the same number of games. Your squad is in the best shape at the moment, fitness-wise. You know, there are injuries at City, more injuries at Liverpool than both. But barring Timber, it looks like within the next week or two, you could have almost a fully fit squad to choose from.
Yeah, obviously we have missed some big players, and we still are, but you have to adapt to that. Obviously, we want them back. We need them back as quick as possible, and we know the impact that those players are going to have when we have the full squad ready.
11 goals in your last 2 league games. Has that answered all the critics who were telling you during January, you've got to go and buy a striker, you've got to go and buy Ivan Toney, you've got to go and get somebody to put the ball in the back of the net?
No, I think it shows that the team has the ability to score goals and to share the goals, and that we have to do it consistently. And that's the demands at the end of the season. You're going to have to score certain amount of goals and not concede certain amount of goals in order to have the best chance to win titles. And that's undeniable.
What is it about Newcastle as well the last sort of couple of seasons, or certainly last season and then St James's Park earlier this season, that makes them so difficult for you to beat? Because it's looked like those games are very sort of close between the two of you.
Well, they are a really good team. They are very well coached. They are fantastic players. They have great spirit within the team, and they are difficult to beat for us and for many opponents.
And last one, you've beaten City and Liverpool this season already in the Premier League. Many people would still see you as being the outsiders of the 3 to win the title. Are you in the position right now, though, that you would love to be in?
Well, I think we are in a really good position, and we are where we want to be. I don't know, we can be better. As I said before, I think the most important thing is that we continue to believe, to perform at the level that we are doing, and we have the squad available. And if we have those 2 things, we're going to give them a real go.
Hi, Mikel. We spoke to Declan after the game on Wednesday, and he was talking a bit about this team sort of learning some sort of savviness and, you know, the element of the dark arts that you get in the game. Is that something you feel the team needs to maybe develop as they sort of mature as players, that sort of bit of edge?
Yes, we certainly can develop a lot of things, and those experiences are really relevant to judge whether we were or we weren't just because a goal. I don't think it's is that fair, and I was very clear with them about it, because I believe that they did a lot of things right. But yeah, and managing games and things like that, we can still improve. But in a year's time, for sure, we can improve, and we can improve in our build-up phase, and we can improve in our restarts, and we can improve in many areas.
I think when a lot of people speak to these Arsenal players and know these Arsenal players, I think everyone would say they're obviously very nice people. Can you have that off the pitch, and then when you go on the pitch, flick that switch and have that edge, have that bit of the dark arts? Can you be a nice guy and be a bad guy on the pitch?
Yeah, I don't know if the bad guy, but you have to be tricky, you have to be smart, you have to be streetwise, and you have to try to take advantages in every situation, and they know that.
And is that something you sort of coach on the pitch, off the pitch? How do you develop that in the players?
That's a thing that has to be developed. You don't have it, that's for sure, because the best teams, the best players, they have that.
Mark.
Hi, Mikel. It's nearly 4 months now since what happened at Newcastle. Obviously, your response afterwards and the club statement and everything. Since then, do you think you've seen a noticeable improvement in officiating with VAR?
Well, that's what we all wanted, that at the end the decisions are better. I think the last stats that came across showed that it was a significant improvement, and a lot of decisions were getting right. So hopefully that's the case, and we continue to do that.
Your response at the time was criticised by some, but do you feel you being able to talk about it and bringing it up like that has helped that whole conversation around it?
I don't know. I talked the way I felt, and I was very straight. And I did it in a way that it was pretty strong, but within the law, because I didn't get charged for that. So that says the story.
Kaya.
There we go.
Hi.
On Wednesday, it was obviously quite a stop-start game. There was lots of fouls. I think the ball was in play for about 50%. Quite similar to the home game against Newcastle last year. You said that your team can learn to do better and will learn from those situations. What do you think they can learn between Wednesday and potentially a similar test on Saturday?
Well, we have to learn, but as well we need the game to be managed in the right way, and that's not for us to do, and that's for the referees to do, and we leave it for them because it's obvious again what happened on Wednesday, and we have to deal with that, and we have to be ready for that. But at the end, it's their job, and they have to manage that.
And before the Nottingham Forest game, we spoke. Obviously, last season there was that desire for revenge. You said everyone could feel it in their stomachs going into the game. Have you sensed a similar atmosphere amongst your players this time going to the Newcastle match?
Well, I could sense in the dressing room straight away that we wanted to play the next day if possible, and after that defeat, that's the feeling that you get, and I'm sure when they come back in an hour or two, I'm going to be seeing that desire again.
Thanks. Jordan.
Mikel,
Hi.
13 games to go this season. This stage last season, it was a Bournemouth game, that dramatic 3-2 win, where it felt like there was a lot of emotional energy being spent already. How much is left in the tank at this stage?
A lot, because I think a lot of players, they haven't played significant minutes this season, and some important players as well. So I can sense that there are still 5 or 6 that they have still a lot to effort to the team, and the other ones, because after what happened last year, we want to make sure that this season is very different, and that brings a lot of energy because we know what we are facing.
Obviously, Porto, you brought in one sub. There's maybe talk of not using the bench as much as other teams. Because you've got 5 or 6 players there, do you think that it's maybe their time to step up at some point in the next 2 months? There'll be a part-time to play. Yeah,
but we have made changes in the last few games, and every game is different in relation to what is happening, and rightly or wrongly, which at the end are decided those decisions by the results at the end. We try to make the right call. That's it.
Finally, how different does it feel approaching the run into that compared to last season? It feels like after that Bournemouth game, it felt like towards the end, it felt like Arsenal were there. It was theirs to win. Does it feel slightly different this time because there's 3 teams competing and you're on the shoulder rather than leading?
I feel a lot of excitement, especially internally, because we are right in the mix, and we want to continue to be there because we are in the Champions League and we have a fantastic game to play at the Emirates. And externally probably is different because the expectations are much more focused in the other 2 teams, and that's it.
Thank you. 10:30 section tonight.